Hello and welcome. My name is Juliana. Welcome to Living Now Yoga. And today I'm interested in sharing a sequence for relaxing and stretching some of the tissues, some of the muscles around the front of the chest, the shoulders, the upper back, as well as the neck and the head. I will love sharing it with you. It's a sequence that feels really good to me. Before we jump into the sequence, I want to first talk about who is this sequence for. I want to talk about self-responsibility, and then I want to show you what props you will need if you decide that this sequence is appropriate for you. So this sequence will probably feel useful for many, maybe some people who work at computers, who are driving, who are finding that maybe the shoulders are rounding forward, head is coming forward, and there might be discomfort, pain coming in around the neck and the shoulders. Since I've begun doing more of my teaching online, I find it's more and more sweet for my body, and also for me as I age. That's who is it for. Now, this is who is it not for. Many of the options I will give would not be for you if you have arthritis in your shoulders, or if you are currently living with a shoulder dislocation, and in some cases, maybe even if you've historically had a shoulder dislocation. So I offer these techniques as a doorway for some in the ongoing process of healing. But I want to point out that the first step to healing, or one of the first steps, compassion, awareness, and self-responsibility. So I'm not with you. I can't answer your questions right now about whether the sequence is or is not right for you. If you question whether it is right for you, please err on the side of caution and don't do it with such love. And if any of these options causes you pain, numbness, tingling, radiating, discomfort, feelings of cold, feelings of hot, please back out of the pose until you don't have those feelings, or forego that pose altogether. That concludes who is this sequence for, and as well, who is it not for? Okay, what props will we use in today's sequence? You might use a yoga mat. It doesn't have to be a yoga mat. It could just be a clean and comfortable place where you could lie on your back, lie on your side. As well, I'm going to offer the possibility of putting our legs up and over a structure. That structure could be a chair, it could be a couch. Those of you with restorative yoga props at hand, if you know how to build a Stonehenge, something that you could put the legs up and over. But if that can't work for your environment, don't worry about that step. You'll see I have 2 yoga blankets here. It could be really actually any kind of blanket. It also could be 2 towels. And at a certain point in the class, one of those blankets will actually just be acting as a pillow for your head. So it could be that you instead have a pillow that could support your head. I've got 2 yoga blocks here. For one of the movements, really a yoga block would be best, but you could use a metal coffee can or a hard metal water bottle maybe. And then you'll see finally there is a strap, a yoga strap. You could use a scarf, a belt instead, and in between the 2 layers of blanket, you'll see that there is a racquetball. We're going to use a massage ball. Could be a racquetball, could be a tennis ball, could be other. These are the kind of small piece props we'll be using in this sequence, but also in this sequence, we're going to be using a door jamb and a space of open wall that you can lean toward, or a door which when closed you could lean the weight of your body into. So that is our list of props for the day. I'm going to take a moment now and I'm going to set up the props for our first pose. And for our first pose, we will not be using blocks or strap. We will not immediately, but actually secondarily be using our massage ball. Because balls roll, in putting your ball off to the side, if possible, put it somewhere where it won't roll. But if by any chance you get up to answer the door to go to the bathroom, please pause and don't rush. Please pause and note where is the ball in the room so that you don't trip over it. I am going to set my chair so it is at the end of my mat. And I am going to use one of my folded blankets for under my skull. Now, I'm not going to show in putting my legs over the chair right now how to either bind the feet and or bind the thighs. So that can feel really nice for some people. In the future, I will upload a separate video on that technique. But for now, legs coming up and over. And I'm going to help myself to lie back. If you are pregnant and you are still comfortable lying on your back, and your wellness provider is comfortable with you lying on your back at this point in your pregnancy, then this might be a wonderful option for you. If, however, you are pregnant and lying on your back is no longer comfortable and or your wellness provider is not comfortable with you lying on your back, you could put a number of pillows underneath your back body and or roll up a bit of a towel or a pillow or blanket and put it underneath the right side of your pelvis and low back. We're going to take some arriving moments first. Arms in a comfortable position. And enough support at the back of the skull that you can lightly bow your face to the heart. Just finding your way into your breath. You might take a moment and gently walk your shoulders down, back body. Mouth is soft. Forehead is invited to relax. On the front of your torso, both your belly and your rib cage has permission to move with breath. Yielding to the ground, yielding to the breath. And take a moment and place one hand on your abdomen such that one elbow rests to the ground. Let your other hand come onto or near the chest such that its elbow also rests to the ground. And use that as a moment to welcome yourself to your practice. One more breath. And if the breath continues to move smoothly, if indeed your eyes were closed, you might blink them open and reaching for your massage ball. And we're going to place that ball in between your shoulder blade and your spine. And we all have different proportions, of course. I happen to have very long arms. For me, it goes best to, let's say I'm going to start on the right side, lift my right shoulder and use my left arm to bring it up and over, but some prefer the same arm, same side approach. You're going to need to work that out on your own. But I'm going to take the ball and I'm going to place it in between my shoulder blade and my spine. Now, the space in between the shoulder blade and the spine has some width and height to it. So there's not only one spot into which you could put the ball. So you're welcome to play or just leave it where you first placed it. And having done so, you might wish to just rest heavily on the ball exactly where it is. It's creating a compression massage. You do not want the ball in your spine. It's further to the side than in the spine. And though you might rest still and steady, your arm could be across your body. Your arm could find another space to rest, up and overhead, off to the side. You also, however, if you wish, and only if it feels right, might gonna go on a slow and thoughtful movement exploration. Arm could move with elbow bent or straight. Movements could be very small. It could be more movement at the shoulder head than arm in space. If you need a break or you decide this is not for you, take a break, and or if it's not for you, skip it. Of course, different balls are bigger, smaller, softer, harder, and you might just discover that you need to work with a different size ball. Now, in addition to possibly moving the arm, possibly wriggling the shoulder, you might move your neck and head. And or you might even, if it feels right, lift your hips a little. Or press your feet against the edge of the couch or the chair. Or some might find that feet on the ground actually works better as you, through your writhing, through your movements, redirect the location of the ball. Breath in and breath out. You might decide you're done with this before I formally say, and now let's pause, or and now let's do the other side. When you feel done, feel done. Alternatively, you might discover you want to keep doing this even after I say, let's withdraw the ball and put it into the other side. So honoring your own sense of what's right for you, which comes easier for some than for others. That's simply true. But honoring / cultivating and inviting your sense of your own, honoring your own needs. If it can work for you, go ahead and draw the ball out. You might just hold it in a hand or rest it on your belly and take a breath. A soft, comfortable breath. But though I'm going to invite you to go ahead and put the ball into the other side when you're ready, I'm also going to pause and take out a model shoulder in case for anyone there's a little confusion about what is the shoulder blade and what is the space in between the shoulder blade and the spine. So that's your shoulder blade right there. Your shoulder blade can go up and down, it can go out and in, it can tip forward, tip back. And so we are putting the ball into the space in between the inner border of your shoulder blade or scapula and your spine. You may have already done that. If you have not already done that and you would like to do that now, have at it. And once the ball is, if indeed you are choosing to do it on the second side, you can also fast forward to the next exercise. If that ball is in the shoulder, into the meat, the muscles in between your shoulder blade and your spine, rhomboids, upper trapezius, mid trapezius. Again, you might just rest there, just lying as heavily over the ball and as much stillness as serves you. You might discover that what you need on the second side is different than what you needed on the first side. If it feels right for you at any point, you might start to move the shoulder in space. Gently rock your upper body. Left arm may or may not wish to move this way, that way. Head and neck changing its orientation, whether mildly or into whichever range of motion feels safe and thoughtful, feels useful and helpful. Sometimes I like to use my opposite arm, in that the ball is on the left side of my body now. That's to say, use my right elbow to kind of nudge against the earth to guide the movements. So of course, as we talked about before, your hips could move in space. Your feet could shimmy against your chair or the edge of the couch. If your chair is not stable, of course, please forego that. And your movements, if at all, could be quite small, or some might start to discover it's really wonderful to create bigger ranges of motion. If you ever need to reposition the ball, then please just go ahead and do so. And as with the first side, if you need to take a break, take a break. Perhaps we'll explore this for another breath or a few. Knowing that as with before, you can always end an exercise sooner than what I'm guiding. And or if it's really serving you, you could stay with an exercise. Nonetheless, at this moment, I'll invite you to take the ball, put it off to the side or on your belly. And rest in simple, as much symmetry as can work for you in this moment. Maybe eyes closed. And just take a breath. A soft, comfortable breath. And now we'll thoughtfully prepare for our second pose, which will be a side lying pose. That being said, rolling gently to your side, using your hands to push the earth away, head coming up last.